church here. The design is done so that he designed what he was familiar with, and that was French Catholic chapels throughout France, where he came from. So that's why the design is the way it is. So the next person that we're going to see is right on the other side. This is his marker. His name is George Manning Farrell. When Notre Dame was originally established, it was a university in name only. When it first started, it was almost like a boys' boarding school. It was kind of like a grade school. If you could afford the cost to get in, you could stay right here on campus. They had a labor camp and all kinds of stuff. You could learn mathematics, all kinds of stuff. And like I said, the school children lived right here on campus. One of these students, George Farrell here, was just 7 years old when he died. And he died here on campus from some kind of severe illness. For one reason or another, his body could not be shipped back to his hometown to be buried. And so the rest of the brothers and the rest of the adults, teachers and professors and stuff, thought so much of him that they buried him here and put this stone up for his honor. So he is buried here. He died in 1908. Like I said, he was 7 years old. Don't know what disease he had or illness he had to actually end up that way. So before there was university, it was basically a boarding school at one time or another. Now, we're not going to go very far. We're going to Timothy Howard's grave.
All I know is that Alexis and Benjamin.
Yeah, they could. This is where Lisa and them Notre Dame owns it. It's Notre Dame property. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, we could do that, but as long we couldn't be doing a tour or nothing like that. Oh no. I mean, just yeah, do a hunt. Yeah, we could do a hunt out there. That's no problem.
The statue, it was 100.
Yeah, we can do that.
The side was about even. Okay, great.
But no, this is where they actually got busted at with the police and stuff when they're doing the tour or whatever. They had to go explain to them and all that. We'll walk up here.
All right, now, Timothy Edward Howard was born around Ann Arbor, Michigan, January 27th, 1837. His father, Martin Howard, was born, how would you like to come from this hometown? Cork, Ireland. Cork, Ireland. And his mother, Julia, was born somewhere around Mount Rath, Ireland. So we got somebody born in Cork and Mount Rath. They must have been happy people. Now, both parents immigrated to America and settled in Michigan. Timothy's father died when he was just 14, which was not uncommon. And because Timothy was the eldest of 7 children, he took charge of the farm, the family farm, and supported his widowed mother and his younger siblings. At the age of 22, Mr. Howard enrolled in Notre Dame and graduated 3 years later. On February 5th, 1862, he enlisted in the Union Army and was severely wounded 2 months later at the Battle of Shiloh. Because of his wound, he was honorably discharged and returned to Notre Dame as a professor of English literature. Beginning in 1878, he served 6 years on the South Bend Common Council. While on the city council, he procured the land for the city's first park, which they aptly named in his honor, Howard Park. In 1886, he was elected to the state senate and served 3 sessions. On his resignation from the state senate, he was elected judge on the Indiana Supreme Court and served there 6 years. He was a long-serving president of who I work for, the Northern Indiana Historical Society. And while serving in that capacity, he wrote a huge 2-volume history on the history of St. Joseph County, which I use about every other day, still. And to his credit, it's fairly accurate. So he did his homework. All right, down to see Mr. Navarre.
Underneath, I believe, the statue Is that published now, or it's like an old?
It's an old book, but it was
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm here. It's October 10th. It's October 10th. It's a Friday. Caught a glimpse of Larry over there, yeah.
All right, Mr. Navarre. Hopefully, if you're from around this area, you know who Mr. Navarre is already. So this will just be a review. All right, now, Mr. Navarre was born to Robert and Mary Louisa Navarre in February 1787. He came to this area, to St. Joe County, South Bend area, officially in 1820. But he had come here several times prior to that on his trading ventures. He also worked for the American Fur Trading Company, was one of their agents. He set up a trading post on the north bank of the St. Joe River, just a little bit west of 31, what is now 31. From the accounts that we have from not only some of Navarre's facilities, but also from other fur traders that were around this area, Pierre was 6 foot tall, which was unusual back then for somebody to be that tall. He was also well educated for the time. He could read and write. He could actually write his name. I don't know how good of a speller he was with that middle name Frechette. So, now, not wanting really for the Indians, the Native Americans that were here, to be pushed from the area by the government, but to have them assimilate into white culture, he thought he did what was best, and he married the daughter of a Potawatomi chief, and her name was Angelique, and her last name started with a K and ended with a Y, and there's about 7, 8, 9 consonants altogether that I can't pronounce. So, her father was a Potawatomi chief. He married her. Now, not much is known of the everyday life of the Pierre Navarre family. We know that Pierre and Angelique had 6 children that lived to adulthood, but Angelique may have given birth to upwards of 10 or 11 children. They had 3 sons and 3 daughters that lived to adulthood, those 6 kids. Of his daughter, of the 3 daughters he had, only Frances is officially known. That's because there is a record of her baptism by Father Stephen Baden, and that was recorded. So, now around 1838 or so, the government pushed out the Potawatomi tribe and the Native Americans that were in this area to free up land for farming and push them out west to Kansas. It was such a disastrous trip.